Do 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 do. Welcome to our show. It's Secret Handshake. We're back from a long break. Hey, hey. Welcome to our show. It's Secret Handshake Live. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys feel about that?
Wow,
Oh,
I missed it.
Yeah, it felt fresh and new,
Felt
you know, a couple
good.
weeks
Yeah.
off.
Did you guys feel like I'd been resting my voice a little?
Yeah, I
You
thought
could
you'd
feel,
been
like,
on
the clarity,
vocal
yeah.
rest, and I also thought maybe that you'd shed the layers, the build-up,
Yeah.
what did I do last week?
Yes.
In your mind is gone now, and
and
you
you're
were
free.
welcome to explore the blank page in a way that it formerly felt cluttered, you know?
Thank you so. I mean,
Welcome to
He
Secret
said it best.
Handshake, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Secret Handshake. This is a stream we do on Tuesday nights.
okay, Tuesday. It's our new. I'm like very
Tuesday.
excited. Honestly, the energy
New day.
from the new day. Also, I'm Cassie and E. What's up? I don't think I said my name.
We didn't say our
Oh,
names.
no one said their names.
No.
I'm
Oh.
Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm Harper.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like the new day, like new energy, new
Yeah.
month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing from like my sort of like circles of like people that I follow, just like July has like a very like refreshing energy. Like we're a little over halfway through the year, which feels actually kind of bringing me back down a little bit. But let's bring it back up that we're on the show tonight. Woo!
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
a wine chat.
And it's a
Wine
wine chat.
chat.
Okay, clink.
Clink.
It has to. It had to be.
It absolutely
It
had
simply
to be.
had to be. Because we were trying to talk about what we wanted to do this week, and of course it's going to be a welcome back episode. We're going to talk
Welcome back.
about. We've done 1,000 things
Oh,
in the
so
last 2
many
weeks.
things.
We have done like 3 or 4 things.
We have hung out. Yeah.
Um,
We've done activities.
There's been media, so there's all of that to catch up
So
on.
much.
But we were trying to discuss like what topics do we want to cover, and I believe it was me that pointed out that I have trouble being funny or making any art because I'm mad all the time.
God, I'm so fucking mad all the time.
I'm mad all the time,
Yeah.
and it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
To
It's a
resist,
challenge.
yeah, to resist frustration. Yeah, all right, a little last 5 years reference for you. Any,
Didn't start as it, but it turned into it.
it's like
Yeah.
immediately what I thought.
Yeah.
I've seen the last 5 years. I just don't know what we're talking
And
about.
in a perfect world.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like so
figured it
mad
out.
all of the time.
Yeah, it's very
And-
bad. The world we live in, oh boy,
Ugh,
it's horrid.
Okay, it's
truly
bad.
terrifying.
And the thing is,
Everything.
the thing that makes me even more mad is like, it's been bad.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
it's been bad. Well, and like,
And in some ways, like, it's
It's in some ways less bad now, which is wild and
right,
terrifying.
horrifying to
I'm
think.
like, wait.
but like, it's so bad. Still.
You know what I
Always,
mean?
Forever.
I gotta be.
Everything is-
Yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. People are treated really,
Bad.
really quite poorly, which is a huge underselling of what it actually is. For me to say quite poorly.
Yeah, people are monsters.
Yes.
Who fucking, yeah.
What a fun start to our comedy show.
I love it.
But that's how it is. That's how I
That's all-
feel.
that's all we have.
I've forgotten how to tweet a tweet
Uh-huh.
that isn't written in anger.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say,
Yeah.
like, I have, like, all of my drafts are, like,
Not that I was ever good at tweeting. Don't get me wrong.
Harper, you're good at tweeting.
You're a
Don't-
great tweeter.
Come on, get out of here.
Listen.
At Harper B.
my angry tweets all end up in my drafts. So, like, anytime I go to my drafts, like, I'm like, is there anything? Like, I'm like, I want to tweet something today, but, like,
This is funny though. Should we look at tweets from our drafts?
Like-
An unplanned segment. An unplanned segment. Jerry doesn't have any, and that's fine.
I don't do much tweeting. I'm really, like, on Twitter, I'm just really into, like,
You're a lurker.
I was actually going to say, like, lifting up other voices. You know, like,
Sure.
I feel most
Sure.
of the things I'm mad about.
I do my retweets. I'm not
I
out
know
here.
you do. I know you do. I was just trying to make up for the fact that I don't produce any content on Twitter. I
Yeah, no,
just
me
do
either.
retweets. I am, and even those, not particularly frequently.
Okay, I only have 2 drafts. They are both clearly written in anger. I'll say they're both clearly written in anger.
Okay.
a lot of my drafts are, like,
do you have a lot?
usually, like, pretty, like,
I do only have 2. I'll see there. I don't think you
Political.
can read those, so I don't think it'll be a thing. Mine aren't explicitly political.
Oh my God, here's one that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Whenever I'm sad, I think about pushing a cop down a long flight of stairs and I feel better.
Oh,
That's good.
Yeah.
Here's I'm gonna give a chaser to that. Here's my top draft. One of my most cherished memories is deciding to be born. Love to look back and feel secure knowing that I had agency in that moment, as I have in all the moments that have followed.
Okay, Clayton. Okay, here's one.
What, I also, by the way, I'm just gonna tweet that one.
Yeah,
right
just
now.
tweet it,
Just
just
gonna
tweet
go
it.
ahead and send on that. Why not?
Here's one that I tweeted when I was definitely like,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm saying mad, but being mad, obviously, it's like, well, I'm annoyed all of the time.
Sure.
And then it's like from the baseline
And then we're gonna
annoyed.
spike.
What's
Right.
the fury?
Right.
You know? Okay,
Right.
so
it's like a low level horror. And
I
then-
didn't. Right. Exactly. Always low level horror. Okay. Devilishly delighted when someone tries to stand freely on the subway without holding anything and is exhibiting that energy as a personality trait, and then the train jerks and they stumble and fall over. I fucking love when that happens. I'm like, please hold onto a
Yeah.
pole.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall onto some poor old woman
Yeah.
who, you know, the escalator isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
She has to sit down, and now you're going to sit on her lap because you think you look cool not holding a pole on the subway.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
pissed.
That being said, I have fallen into the lap of more than one stranger on the subway. Not for a lack of.
It happens.
I always
That's-
want to hold
no
on.
one
It has
is
to happen.
saying
I
everyone
always
who
wanna
falls on
hold
the
on.
subway is bad. Yeah.
I know. I'm just apologizing to everyone I've ever sat on in the subway.
No, but I know exactly what you're talking. I almost had to. I had to re-examine my thoughts on photographing a stranger in public.
Yeah.
Because I saw
What was happening?
a
Oh
man
my God.
who looked like. He looked like the landlord from One Day at a Time, whatever that guy's name is.
Schneider?
So he looked like Schneider. He had, so that's his overall deal. Dress sweatpants, standing
I love a dress
full out,
sweatpants.
full door, taking the full door. And then he had an iPhone, folks, in both hands. He was using them at the same time. It
Okay.
was truly too much. It was truly far too much.
No. Literally on the way here, there was a couple who looked like brother and sister who were making out on the train. I was like, okay, that's honestly, it's too soon. Pride Month literally just ended. Okay, and honestly, well, first it was like I was sitting on a 3-seater, they were sitting on a 2-seater over here. They walked on, and I saw them sort of being that way, but I was like, whatever, I can't see you. They moved to the 2-seater so that they were directly in my view, and the girl kept like hugging and making eye contact with me. I was like, okay, what's happening?
They were like, "This
It's hard
is
to judge the
this
energy.
is a hate crime."
What
Like,
did it mean? What did it mean?
like,
You know?
I love to think like I'm like, is it that this girl is seeing me and being like, oh, she's cute, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cute, you know, like that's cute. But then it was like she was making eye contact with me, but then there were lots of like, it wasn't like full makeout, actually worse. It was like a bunch of kisses all over the face, both of
Oh.
them, kiss on the neck. And I was just like,
And it was just the middle of the day.
I'm like, please put it away.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't put your lifestyle like in my face.
Are you trying to get into the opening credits of SNL? Come on.
Come on.
Don't make out on the subway.
Here,
my opinion,
here's
in
one.
general.
Here's one. I'm trying to take deep breaths, but it smells like shit.
That's pretty funny too.
Which is something I think all the time when I'm anxious walking around the city. I'm like, okay,
Pretty
bitch,
good.
you're fine. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I breathe in through my nose for the first time in weeks because I'm just constantly walking around
Yeah.
with my nasal cavities like closed off. Big time mouth breather here. Okay, clink.
And just so
My
that
sorry, that I know my dentist asked me if I grind my teeth in my sleep, and I said no. I sleep with my mouth open.
That's what I'm saying. I was experiencing some like jaw pain last week, and I was like, am I clenching my jaw? And I was like, that can't happen because sometimes in the middle of the night, like my mouth is so open when I sleep that sometimes in the middle of the night, my girlfriend will check my pulse to see if I'm alive because she's like,
I
you
understand
look.
that feeling. Yeah. Normally there's auditory clues for
Like-
me, but like I do understand.
But at first I was like, yeah, sometimes I just worry you've died.
Because when you go because when you're lying there like, or whatever the noises are,
I'm
nightmarish.
Crying.
Also, do you want to let the viewers in on the other thing that the dentist told you?
The dentist told me I had a tiny mouth.
The dentist told Jerry she's got a tiny mouth. I can't let
Harper
it.
thinks it's so funny.
It's at least moderately funny.
It is pretty
For
funny.
a doctor to tell you you've got a tiny mouth is funny
she was
in general.
putting her tiny little hands in there, and it was like
I wouldn't like. I've never thought that
And we
about
do
you.
have
I
your
think it's
girlfriend
just-
Emma is saying in the chat she's nervous. She's got to check the chest for rising and falling. I do think often of these books, which I am not vouching for. I don't remember them well enough, and immediately thinking about it, it sounds like bad news. But the Indian in the Cupboard books, I don't know if you know these books.
Yes.
There's a scene
I have
where
not read.
he talks about having to look at the big guy and see if there's movement because he's not sure if this person's dead or not. I don't remember the scene well, but I think about that all the time when I'm thinking about if you're breathing or not.
It's really funny that okay, I have so
You've
many.
got so many drafts.
Because so many of them.
I had 2.
Some of them.
Now I've only got 1.
They
Which, by
really-
the way, it was just the other draft. Just so if anybody's curious, it was a cool casual quote. A cool casual night of remembering famous artworks and getting furious.
Okay, sometimes I'll want to retweet something with an angry caption, but then I'm like, is it too mean? So I don't know what this tweet is, but it's definitely attached to another one. But the caption that I said is, "Get me in contact with this kid so I can beat his ass." Probably some little Trump kid, you know what I mean?
Sure,
God,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
White men are so loud on the subway. Sir, I have my headphones blasting music and I can still hear your boring voice. Quiet, honey. Lots of stuff about sort of I don't want to get into all the politic ones, but people who are people who are okay, well, I'm pro-life for me, but I would never tell another woman what she couldn't do. I'm like, yeah, you're still not. That's still not.
that doesn't matter.
You're still not. You still have bad opinions.
Right, and if that is your opinion, you should be fighting for abortion access.
Right. If you
that's
don't want an abortion,
what that opinion means,
fine.
right?
I'm like, what?
Fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just okay.
We do have big political feelings. The
do.
show is political. Is the thing.
Someone
Welcome
someone this morning asked me. I said I didn't know the words to our national anthem. She said, "What?" And then she said, "This person's very nice. This person's very nice." And then she said, "Do you at least know the Pledge of Allegiance?" And I said, "That's fascist."
That's funny. Yeah, I thought you were. Do you at least know the dance moves? I think there's an old Onion headline that is report 70% of Americans don't know the dance moves to.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Are you looking for more gold?
Yeah, I'm looking for more gold. Yeah, they're not. They're not really. That's why. That's why they're drafts. Okay, they're not really fully hitting.
Yeah, they didn't make it defeat.
Lots of tweets about people being mean to homeless people.
Sure.
Being like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
happens a lot.
Literally,
Fucking trash.
It's weird.
literally, the least you can fucking do. Well, if you have cash and there's a homeless person asking for money, you should give them your money.
Yeah.
No matter what, if you don't have cash, the least you can do is just take off your headphones or look up from your book and say, "You know what? I don't have any cash. I'm so sorry. Have a good day." Just look them in the eyes. Obviously, if someone is being unsafe, that's one thing. But
Right.
that has really never ever been my experience, and it's kind of dystopian to watch someone walk down a subway car and they're speaking out loud, they're begging for money or food or anything, and nobody is looking at them or say. I'm like, this is I get really worked up about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's lots of tweets about sort of just carry cash on you if you can, like, or if you don't have, if you can't do that, then at least be like, I don't have any cash. I'm sorry. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, literally,
Yeah.
I get really worked up about that. Don't trust
Yeah.
the police, you know.
I'll
Yeah.
also say, just because I've been shocked by the number of times that I've had the experience of either someone coming to the city and riding on the subway and experiencing, I guess, for the first time, someone asking for money, or even just hearing about that, the, like, complete lack of empathy, and then even, like, the, like, vitriol that I've heard people spew towards these people is shocking. Like,
Yeah.
they're not trying to
didn't do
scam
anything
you.
wrong.
There's
Yeah.
no scam. They're
Right.
asking for food to eat.
Right.
They don't. No one does that if they have another option.
Yeah.
And even there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. Also,
Right.
so it's.
Yeah, people think it's a scam. People
What's
get,
the scam?
people
What's
get-
the scam?
People,
Yeah.
people get mad when it's like you offer a homeless person something and then they don't want to take it, and then you're mad that they
Right, like-
they don't want your scraps.
Right.
I'm like,
Sorry, they don't want your
oh,
trash.
okay.
Right.
I'm like, that gets me mad. I actually think it's like super interesting, like the concept of being like hangry, like people being like, you know, like you're not you when you're hungry. Like we know that people, when you don't have food, like once you eat a meal,
Right.
you feel so much different. And how like homeless people, like
People
like think about
Right.
that. Think about like not having regular access to food or sleep.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fucking bitch when I don't have 10 hours. Like imagine
Right.
not having like a place to go sleep. Like how
Right.
that would affect your mood. Like homeless people don't owe you any sort of like
Right.
niceties.
No,
And, like,
it's an impossible way of living.
It
To
is,
never
yeah.
have a moment of privacy
Right.
or peace is an impossible way of living.
Right.
No access to hot water.
And I'll
or
also point out,
soap,
it's
like,
an unnecessary way of living. There
Ab-
are homes.
There are
There is
more
food.
homes.
Yeah,
than
there's
homeless
enough
people in
Scarcity
New York
is a
City.
lie. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we're mad all the time. Now that we've
all
established
the
that
time.
with our 20-minute first act, let's get to the theme of the show. Holy we did the exact opposite
Listen.
of our entire intent.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen.
So the thing is, we're bad at the thing that is the theme of the show.
That's of course the case, which
That's
is why
the
it's the theme.
That's the thing of the show. We're trying to figure out tips on how to just like calm down a little. Like I think the things that we're angry about, they're worth being angry about.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that when I'm upset, I don't think like, oh, I should just chill. I just need to chill out and stop caring so much. I do
Right.
not think it is an issue of me
No.
caring too much.
No.
I think it's an issue of recognizing evil in the world and being traumatized by it.
Yeah. Okay, clink.
It is pervasive. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And then I guess it is probably also important to say that we're all extremely lucky and privileged.
Oh,
also.
wildly.
While we
Wildly. We're
face
beyond.
challenges, we're obviously based on the fact that we're coming to
Right.
anyone by this method alone.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's an enormous amount of privilege that we're approaching this
I'm
with. so-
absolutely fucking fine.
Yeah.
1,000%. I should never complain about one thing.
Right. So I just don't want it to be like whatever. But we are upset all the time, and
Yeah.
it does suck. It
Yeah.
sucks at every level
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
everybody.
It sucks very bad.
So that I think that there's rage specific to atrocity, and then there's rage that's just sort of like I'm fucking annoyed with things that I need to let go.
Sure. And they
Yeah.
can absolutely sort of hang out together.
Yes.
Those two feelings.
Yeah, I feel like I vacillate between those two all day, every day, from the moment I wake up to the moment I rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to know, like, I think it's important that we come up with a list to sort of be like, you know, I don't want to be so angry
Right.
All the time.
because sometimes the anger isn't productive. Sometimes
Yeah.
it is, and sometimes it isn't. So when it's
Yeah.
not productive, how do you calm down?
Yes. How do you calm down? How do you not be angry? What was the other thing that we called this episode? How to lose your cool without blowing your top? Something like that.
Yeah. Without blowing your lid, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
How to lose
Yes.
your cool without blowing your lid. So we are taking phone calls tonight.
We are taking phone calls tonight. This is a
Phone
call-in
calls.
show. 802-42-HANDS,
If
802-424-2637.
you've got tips, advice, anything that you
Just
personally do,
The tips.
It can be either broad or specific. If you're like, I read Superman comics.
That's cute. I love that.
That's fine. But if you're also like, I like to be active. That's also, those are like...
Yeah, that's great. Those are both.
Anything on the whole range of anything.
Yeah.
Or if you feel like, I'm also mad all the time and it sucks.
Yeah, if you want to call in and talk about being fucking mad.
talk about that too.
We obviously are always down to talk about being fucking mad.
Okay,
Yeah.
something, can I get in? This wasn't a tip that I originally wrote down.
Let's do it all.
Yeah,
but
go.
a tip that I feel is good is clink. is
My
not
tip.
drinking.
Well,
Venting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly feel better. I love to just sort of like yell about it.
That's definitely what this is for.
I think that every time that we hang out, we end up yelling about something.
We do.
Which I love.
We frequently do that, yeah.
We're big yellers. I feel, I feel like that helps in a way too. And like venting too can put you in a space where like maybe someone can like if we're venting about like a bigger public thing, like
Sure.
can put you in a space where like it allows someone to be like, oh, here's a resource where you can like donate or volunteer.
Love that.
Or honestly, I think group venting is particularly good because it's sometimes nice to just know there are other people
Yes.
in the world
Absolutely.
who care.
Yeah.
It's super
Yeah.
easy to start looking at a tweet thread and you're like
I'm
looking
getting
at the
pissed off thinking
replies.
Yeah.
And
pissed off thinking about it.
right, it's just like 75% of the replies are just someone spewing something evil.
Yeah. And it's like, it's good to know, like, you're not like, am I the only person who doesn't fucking, like,
Yeah. So yelling with your friends
yell with friends.
is great. Is a
Yeah,
great one.
I want to give a big fucking shout out to my girlfriend who is the I talk so much. Like I just like feel like I could talk so much forever. I love to talk through it all, and like when I get mad, it's like I want to talk about it, and I'll talk about it for such a long fucking time, and she is so good about like being there with me, and she is like so smart and also helps calm me down in a way as well that doesn't feel like pedantic or like like infantilizing or anything. Like she's very like she's amazing. So shout out to you, baby.
Yeah.
Love you, Emma.
Emma, the real hero of the show.
Yeah, Emma in the chat, hero of the show.
Venting is good.
I think particularly for things that are not big stakes, that can be super...
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, I think Gita Jackson maybe did a tweet about this in the last couple of days, which was something like, if you're furious about something online, start to explain it to someone who is extremely offline, and it'll probably sound so ridiculous that you stop feeling mad. So for small stakes things, I do think that's a good strategy. Unfortunately, that doesn't work at all for
big stake things.
Yeah.
I feel like it is nice because it can also make you feel like if it's a small stakes thing, it can make you feel like you've taken an action.
Yes.
Like you've addressed it in a way.
Right.
Like you've done something.
Sometimes doing a tweet is like, that's something. Like, it's nothing. It's truly nothing. But it's not literally nothing.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, for big stakes things, actually do the thing. But like,
Right.
But like, right. Exactly. Like, I feel like that's great. I do just feel better after yelling. Although I
Love
do need
to
to,
yell.
I feel like I need to confess, I am such a bad venting partner. Especially with small takes things because I'm fucking broken. And I always am like, well, like, let's just look at it from their perspective.
This is extremely true. And I can't explain how frustrating it is.
I know it's a bad habit. And I like...
You will almost always, if someone is explaining a dispute, you will almost always be like, well, that's probably hard for them. And you're like, I'm talking about how they yelled at me. Like...
It is the worst thing I do.
Yeah.
It helps me be less mad. And so in my mind, it'll help you be less mad.
It does.
I
find it does the opposite.
Cassie is nodding along because she's like, yeah, this bitch does it to me all
I'm like,
the
yeah, she has
time.
done that to me. I'm like, that's true.
I believe it or not, I've tried to be better about it. But like, it's been my whole life. Like my best friend from kindergarten would be like, yeah, you would always like, be like, look at it from your parents' perspective.
That's That's so funny.
Like, there's something wrong with me.
That's so funny. That's hilarious. I also, really side note, sorry to do this right now, but I got a fucking haircut.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. It looks great.
I did it.
So good.
I absolutely love it. It's the haircut of my dreams. I haven't had a haircut in like a very long time. It was like, my hair was like grown out from a haircut months and months ago. And
I
it
wouldn't
was
know
like,
anything about that.
okay, clink. And like, I loved it, and I was like, oh, I want it to grow out. And then I remembered that the planet is on fire, and it's like hot as fucking shit. And this, the long hair was not gonna happen. So I made the appointment, and I was like, chop, chop. And I love it.
It's so fucking cute.
Thank you so much.
Good.
Can I
love
ask
it.
you questions publicly on the record?
Yeah.
You brought in photos when you did this haircut.
I...
True or false?
Did you bring in photos? Because I guess the next question is,
No.
who did you bring in a photo of, right?
Yeah, that's the question I was leading up to. I'm sorry. I thought that when the barber who cut your hair posted about it on Instagram, they said that you brought in reference photos, and I wanted to know who they were.
Wait, I didn't bring in photos.
All right, so nobody. Great.
Wait,
I don't remember
Maybe
that.
I misremember.
Because I feel like I don't remember that being in the...
She said I brought in ideas.
Oh, okay.
And that's
Maybe I
because,
interpreted that as a mood board, and it was actually just you talking.
Were you thinking that I brought in pictures of like Amelie or something? Was that going to be the question?
I wanted to know who it was. No, I didn't think. Does Amelie have this haircut?
No, but like, yeah.
Also, when's Amelie 2 coming out? Sorry.
No, like, what I did was like,
Frozen 2 is coming out this year.
Basically,
that's something I learned today.
Yeah, that's
this
not shocking.
hair was like a layer
Yeah.
grown out, and then I had like hair.
Yeah.
And so I basically picked up this hair and said, I want it to be this, and I want my bangs, which were stretched out down to here, I want them to be shorter than this hair. And she said, great, I'm going to give you exactly what you want and more, and we're going to have a great conversation.
Amazing. Amazing.
She was a treat.
She cut my hair
She cut
also
Harper's hair.
several months ago. Yeah.
Which I forgot
Yeah.
you did fully tell me that.
It's okay. I'm not looking.
I'm
for
sorry,
credit.
but-
I don't need it. I don't need the credit for
But-
the recommendation.
But I'm gonna give it to you. And it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
She was so sweet. She was so nice, and it was great. And then I left, and I was like, wow, oh my god, I feel like I look like myself. You know
You
what I'm
look
saying?
so...
It's cute,
It,
yeah.
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
so
Great.
like effervescent and natural on you.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I love it. Anyways, moving on. Let's go back to talking about being mad.
Well, let's talk about how to not be mad,
Oh, yeah.
because we do have a couple of videos sent in
Yeah.
by our Midwest correspondent, our correspondent at large, as he's been known, Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez. And so he sent us a couple of tips.
Let's get some tips from the clip
as
crew.
well. Yeah. Do we want to take a look at these?
I love
I
it.
would
Let's
love
do it.
to see what Nick has to say, because I feel like Nick doesn't. I'm sure Nick gets mad, but he's not like.
And when we come back from this video, let's discuss who is a fire ant and who is a cucumber. We'll
I
be
love
discussing
doing
those
that.
things
Love.
Yeah.
after this video.
Folks, it's Nick Sanchez with Secret Handshake, here to give you a tip on how to not be so angry, whether you're angry at a friend, a parent, a take you saw online, or just the world being generally bad for you and your friends. You can take solace in the fact that you're right. You know, count your blessings. You are correct about most things. Just take a second. This is my tip. Take a second. Count your blessings. You're correct. No one you love is ever going to die. And, you know, think about something you love. You know, about an hour ago, I had a corn dog. It was delicious. That's something I love. A hot dog on a stick in cornbread, fried. Wild. Who would think of that? I'll tell you who think of it. You did. That's right. You can count your blessings and think about how you invented the corn dog. Nick Sanchez, Secret Handshake.
All right.
Amazing.
You got a text message and I took a sip of wine and we almost missed the end of that.
I'm
But
so sorry.
knowledge that you're correct.
I love that.
It is nice, isn't it?
It is.
It is
Woo!
nice. It is nice in a way to be like, well, everything's gonna explode, or everyone will eventually consider you the worst.
Yes.
Right,
About,
this person.
in general.
Yeah.
In
About
general.
whoever you're mad at.
About whoever you're mad at. I think that's somewhat true. Being right is a little bit of a
It
thing.
helps.
But sometimes it leads me to further yelling, I would say.
I would say you do, yeah.
There's a righteousness that is not always productive.
Which is why sometimes I think it's important to take a look at why people have come to the opinions they have. And then, at the end, you're more right. Because the thing is, if you really look at it from every side and you're still like...
Yeah. Well, and I think it's also important because I'm seeing a comment about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is, I'm sure, great. I would say I'm not sure that's exactly what we're talking about, though, because I don't think that these are... While I would definitely agree it's generally unhealthy how frequently I am upset.
Same.
I am not sure that it's... I'm not sure that I think the thoughts are wrong.
I agree.
Or like that they are... invasive or like they should be absent. I'm not sure it would be more healthy to not have the thoughts.
I feel like I feel like letting myself not get angry about
But I
the
do
things,
thank you for the comment.
Yes, thank you for the
comment.
Not to be dismissive of that at all.
Absolutely. And also therapy, like, we are
pro-therapy.
We're a pro-therapy group, absolutely.
Yes.
That is
Can
a
I
great
have
way
the
to help
wine?
yourself be less mad.
And maybe there are things that I don't know, from that tool set that would be useful in these situations.
Sure.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Listen,
Definitely a great space to be given more tools to deal with your specific responses to anger. Absolutely.
I absolutely love to be right. Like, I feel like someone being like, you're always, like, literally today, Emma was like, you're always right. And I was like, don't tell me that. Because I will come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, I absolutely love it.
Have we discussed also that July is Pride Month too?
What do you mean?
This is the new thing I'm seeing. We've all decided. July, it's Pride Month too.
Yeah.
It's secret, though.
Oh.
Don't tell...
Secret hair.
It's
other
real
people.
Pride Month.
Yeah, it's like the secret cool Pride Month.
It is cool Pride Month.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, Pride Month
I just wanted to spread that around to the other cool people.
I will say, I think it's so funny walking through Midtown on, like, July 2nd, being like, where the fuck did all the rainbows go?
Oh, they're gone. Did everybody see the video about all the accounts changing their things at midnight? Oh, it happened. It happened as it's destined to.
As it's, yeah.
The corporations, folks,
Burn them.
they don't care.
Guillotine.
Eat the rich.
I'm literally wearing earrings that say, eat the rich.
So cute.
Thank you,
I
Gabs.
feel like I should confess, I think this is coming up, this is going to come up into the fire ant cucumber thing. I'm generally, like, mad at, like, everything that's happening all the time because, like, I'm a reasonable human being.
Right.
I'm almost never, like, mad.
Yeah,
Like,
I would say
I'm not an angry...
you and Nick both have big cucumber energy.
Yeah,
because we
strong
we said we were going to discuss who was who.
Yeah.
BCE. I sense it. The big cucumber energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am, like, gigantic fire ant
If anyone's
energy.
unfamiliar with this dichotomy and you don't get it instantly, cucumbers are cool. Fire ants are mad. That's really all it is.
Yeah, hot-headed, sort of, like, easily irritated, just kind of like...
This is an oft-expressed view
Poke,
in
poke.
the show.
Yeah.
I think it has
Yeah.
been that people are either fire ants or cucumbers. It pairs well with the other show theory, which is that there are 3 types of wings: bird, bat, or bug, and you have one of the 3. But we're not getting into that tonight. It's too much.
yeah, that is canon, though.
But it is canon, and I do think that you and Nick have the cucumber energy.
We definitely
That's
have
true.
the cucumber energy.
Listen,
And I would say you're a cusp. If I'm being honest.
I would say I feel like the thing about me is that I'm very easily annoyed. But I think that I am generally, like, a friendly, cheery person. So people wouldn't expect me to maybe be...
I don't know.
It's
I don't
confusing.
think of you as a cusp. I think of you like full fire ant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
To be fair, not as full fire ant as Harper, because
Sure.
Harper is like
Uh-oh.
you're like
Virgo.
the platonic ideal. You're
I'm a
like,
6.
Yeah, you're a 6 on the fire ant scale. I'm like a
Clink.
I love it. I'm like a 1.
Uh-huh.
0.5, like a 0.5. I'm like
Sure.
a 0.5 to be fair.
Uh-huh.
And then Nini, you're like a 4.
I think
4
I'm a
or
4.
5.
Yeah.
That's super
4 and
fair.
a half. Yeah.
It's like strange, like the thing, like sometimes between my girlfriend and I, like it's like we figured out. Like, sorry, like now the wine is sort of hitting. Like it's wine
believe
chat.
me,
Okay,
it's wine chat.
I'm like,
Folks, we're
well,
entering the second half of the wine chat.
So like between Emma and me, it's like we've discovered that I am patient with situations and impatient with people.
Okay.
Like, I can wait in a line, I can wait for a train and just be like, whatever, it's chill. Like, I feel totally good. Someone says something that, for whatever reason, like, one time somebody asked me, like they're like, hey, I'm coming into town, like, when are you free? I'm pissed off. I'm like, why the fuck would you ask me when I was free?
Why
like,
would I be free?
Like, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. How dare you ask me for my availability? And Emma's like, you can't. I'm like, I'm not really mad, but I'm just like, if you knew me, you would not say that to me. Is like sort of the energy. Whereas like Emma can have much more patience with people, is much more understanding with people. Gets down to the subway, has to wait for a train for 6 minutes. No, I'm going to give her more than that. Let's say 12 minutes. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, it's fine. So that's sort of like...
Yeah.
I do think if you're down there, especially in the summer, more than 6 minutes and you start to feel that time.
Whew!
You start to feel that time a lot.
They're cooking you down there.
It's hot down there sometimes.
Making you alive.
Sweat.
Dripping.
Drip, drip.
I love that way of looking at it, though.
Yeah, we are like... So it's great because whenever I'm impatient with a person, she can sort of like slow me down and be
Yeah.
like,
You guys,
know?
y'all tag out.
yeah.
Swap in when you're ready.
Yeah. And then whenever we're like waiting for something, I'm like,
It's a person. Oh no, it's a situation. Yeah.
That's like generally the sort of like we've boiled it down to that.
That's a cool way of looking at it.
I love
it.
that. I love that.
Do you guys want to talk about some more tips that you thought of to
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know my big one.
go?
I know what I do is distract myself. I mean, I don't know that that's the best solution,
Okay,
but that's
Clink.
Yeah, that's a great one.
that's the number one thing.
Oh,
We don't have the call thing up right now, but folks, we can take a call.
I'm so excited.
Yes, call us.
Hi, caller.
caller.
You're on Secret Handshake. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, it's good. This is Gab.
Hey, Gabs. Gabs has been
former guest of the show.
guest of the show. What's up?
Gabs,
What's up? What's up?
are you a cucumber or a fire ant?
Cucumber.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I'm probably a cucumber.
100.
Hell yeah.
I think that's true. I think we all agree on that.
Okay, glad to know we have a decision here.
Did you have a tip or did you have something that makes you mad?
I guess it's very hard for me to get mad. I think sometimes people think I don't have like a pulse. You know? They're like, are you breathing? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But I do get mad, you know. I get mad by the internet. People suck. The world sucks. We're all dying. But I think like what I love to do, but I don't get to do it as much as I wish I did, is like I love to speed walk through Midtown so that when I hit people, it's not bad.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I absolutely love that tip.
That's fun and yeah.
Because
'Cause I
like,
go
I'm
on-
going fast, and like if I bump into you, all of those like white dudes in suits like think literally nothing of it. They're like, "Whoa, rush hour, Midtown, it's fine."
Right.
I'm like,
I love
yeah,
that.
That's right, bitch.
I love like a little like harmless violence.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I've
Yeah.
been trying to set up this shop that somebody else has got the same idea as me, where you just break dishes.
Yeah. That's,
Okay.
Well, and see, here's the thing. One, I just imagine, I don't even have to do it, I imagine throwing a beer bottle, like an empty one, against a brick wall.
Yes.
And
Seems
it
satisfying
calms
if you
me
weren't worried
down.
about the bounce back.
Yeah, I'm not, because it's
In fact,
imaginary.
One
Yeah.
time, one time I was out actually with Kathy, and I kicked a glass, like, just to be like, this seems fun, and it was fun.
I thought of that moment immediately
Uh-huh.
when you started talking about breaking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Like-
was just like in a public sort of place. What was it?
There were children around.
We were near the water in Williamsburg, and there were people around, and I was like, I'm gonna kick this glass, and I did.
Shattered.
It was like a pint glass, or was it like a bottle?
Like a sheet of glass?
I just want to imagine it.
Took like a water glass out of their house and left it on the bench.
It broke so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little bitch, easy. I was like, I'm strong.
I love it.
Okay, but I love the tip of going into Midtown and like shoulder checking someone because like I love to play a game with other white people called I'm walking on this side of the sidewalk. You're expecting me to move. I'm not going to fucking move. So we're going to either be face to face and I'm going to stop in front of you so you have to move around me, or I'm going to full body slam
People
into you
will
or
just walk
full
into you.
shoulder check into you.
Exactly.
I've
And
also-
honestly, it feels
in
like
Midtown,
it feels really good. It feels really good.
so good. And in Midtown, like, what's going to happen? They're going to be like, hey, watch where you're going. And then you can just turn around, speed walking 20 miles an hour and be like, suck my tits. I don't care. And keep walking. And it's over.
And when I am speed walking, I am going 20 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
Fucking run.
Like,
Easy.
yeah.
Come on, I got long legs. I have noticed that a thing that you will often do, Cassini, is speak extremely loudly about how rude someone's being. And
Yeah,
I have to say
I
I'm
love
a
that.
big fan of it. I have to say I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah. It's like when people are standing in the middle of the sidewalk, but they have plenty of room.
Yeah, sure.
I love to sort of be like, excuse me. Or I'm like, you're standing in the middle of the sidewalk is something that I love to say.
People don't
Like
think
a
about it, and
45-year-old
it's
suburban
unbelievable that they haven't thought about it. The most I'll do is mutter, "What's the plan here?" and I find that doesn't get the job done as well.
No.
Oh my God,
The problem
Virgo,
is,
what's the
I'm always the one standing in the middle of the sidewalk, and you're usually.
I'm going, "You're in front of something."
It's usually hard to be like, Jerry, you have to keep walking. Like, you can't just stop.
Okay, yes, actually, something that fucking makes my blood boil is people that are walking and just stop. Like, they
Oh
just
my
stop,
God.
They check their phone.
It's unbelievable.
They
It's
slow
like,
down,
you
they
wouldn't
got
do
to
that in a
the top
car.
of the
You wouldn't
subway, and then
slam
they
on your
suddenly have no
brakes.
idea where they are.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh my God,
You
that gets
have
me
to be able to
so
walk around.
worked up. So worked
Yeah.
up.
But I will
I'm
say that the city is nice because it requires you to deal with those things.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I think that that's good. I think you should have to figure out how to deal with a whole bunch of other people.
I agree. And the reason that
is true.
the reason that I'm so vocal, and I will do it on the train as well, is because the first year that I moved here, I'm going to even say the first couple months that I lived here, I had an experience on the subway where it was like very, very crowded, and it was a very packed train, and it was like one of the situations where like the doors open and the people who are standing in the front of the doors should step off, let everybody who's getting off get off, and then step back on. And I didn't know, and I had an older gentleman yell at me, like literally yell at me and be like, you have to step off the train, like move out of the way. And I was like so embarrassed, but I was like, you're fully right. And honestly, that was a great learning moment. I love using embarrassment as a learning moment. It's like a sort of like nonviolent, great way to teach someone like you're doing something wrong and you just need to think about it. And that was a great moment. So I love to be that old man for lots of other people.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Move out, like get off the train is what I'll say.
And it's very easy. If you have not been on the subway, for example, I feared for so long, and probably have moments where I still do, that there are unwritten rules that I don't know
Yeah.
and will violate purely through no ill will.
Sure.
But I don't think you have to worry about that too much. Like, I honestly think that
Great
all
job.
the people in the big crowds are extremely forgiving, actually.
Yeah.
I actually think
Yeah,
everyone's
that is true.
extremely forgiving because
Yeah.
you can get, like, into a, you know,
Yeah.
well, I don't even know.
I have to say, like, this is something I say all the time about, like, being in New York. Every time someone has a complaint about someone who's a New Yorker, it's absolutely a tourist from the
Probably.
Midwest.
It's probably a tourist,
It's
yeah.
always, like, some jerk who, like you can see it when you, like, the plane lands. Like, they, like, all, like, shoulders
Yeah.
back, like, I'm ready to be a dick, because that's what I have to do, because that's
Yeah.
what you do in New York.
No.
But, like, I swear to God. Like...
So many. I find that a lot of people who I assume are natives here are actually quite kind
Yeah.
and helpful.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
absolutely.
I feel like there's a level of camaraderie here.
Yeah.
We're all shitting on each other all the time.
The, like, most supportive trains I've ever been on are the ones that are going from deep Brooklyn to deeper Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, people who are definitely New York natives who are so fucking nice. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to talk over you.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're good. You talk over me.
Oh wow, this sort of like transit, sort of like walking around New York City is a big source of my anger, and especially being on the train, I
think you just finished
usually
offline.
there's something about being in Midtown that makes me want to get into a fist fight.
Yeah.
I think I tweeted that. I was like, anytime I'm in Midtown, I want to be in hand-to-hand combat. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So.
I've got a fresh
Mortal
glass.
Kombat like arena.
Yes, and I think your tip of going into Midtown and just sort of like
Getting in a fist fight?
yeah, just sort of like bumping into someone, sort of yelling at someone, you know, in a sort of passing way.
Now, it
Love
is true.
that.
You did, maybe I don't remember this, but didn't you join a fight club?
I can't talk about that.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, before we get too far from it, I want to say Erin
Yeah.
did come back and leave another comment here, which is great. Just to clarify, cognitive behavioral therapy, at least as far as I understand, helps me focus my emotions into a healthy and productive space, not deny them. It's taught me that logic and emotions are not exclusive and are most powerful when combined. That seems positive and great.
I think
I
that
love
great.
that for you. I love that journey for you, and I honestly hope to find myself on that journey someday soon. Though it's not today, honey.
Hey,
But no, I do
I'm
think
staying
there...
pissed.
Yeah, I think there's a way that really looking at your emotions can, like, and thinking about them and being really conscious of them can help you just sort of, like, generally feel healthier and
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's a great point.
absolutely love it.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's my tip, y'all. I'm glad we could kick back and chat about it.
Love
Thank you
it. Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
calling.
Yeah, Gabs, and
Yeah.
also I think I'm glad that we have had your cucumber energy as part of the show in the past as well, and I hope that we have you as a future guest as
Yeah,
well.
honestly,
Oh my god.
honestly, your cucumber energy in my life personally, a beautiful gift.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
I'm already a cucumber, so I just appreciate the other aspects of your personality.
We're making really cool cucumbers, Sherry.
Hell yeah. Throw us in some
All right,
gin
bye,
with some
y'all.
mint.
Bye. Thank
All right,
you.
talk to you later.
Hey. Now I want a cocktail.
God,
It was a positive.
right?
It was a positive call.
Yeah.
It was a great call. Should we go into a regular segment?
Oh boy, I
we-
guess we could.
Like,
I,
should
I,
we?
I,
We don't have to.
I honestly don't know what between like now and the last time we had a show. I don't know so much things.
Yeah, there's so much things, but
Let's-
we can
yeah,
do
let's do
something
it.
of a regular segment. It's not going to go
Do
exactly.
we have anything from the Clue Crew?
No,
No.
we don't. But that's fine. We can still. It can still be a regular segment. I can pull up our.
I was talking about a regular segment that we do every single week.
Yeah.
It's a segment that we do every single week.
Right.
It's a segment where we talk about sort of like a lot of media that we consume, you know, like books, television, movies. Is anybody going to movies? Is anybody watching
We don't have a
movies?
video from the
Yeah,
Clue
yeah.
Crew, so no one's gonna.
I
no
know.
one's going to cut you off, but you can keep introducing the segment.
You know, so like, you know, it's like music as well, podcasts, anything, games. We talk about a lot of different things that we consume. Oh, actually, it's been over the last 2 weeks, so we have a lot that we could
I
cover.
mean, even 3 weeks if you consider like.
Hey, I
wamp,
can't do time or math.
Wamp.
Right, whamp, whamp, whamp.
Each
3
wamp, if you
weeks.
count each wamp
This is an
individually.
extremely regular segment that we love to do called Pitch a Tent, where we talk about the content that we've consumed since we last met.
Yeah. Okay, I did look. We've got a few things on here.
I forgot, we didn't put, we should talk about all together as a group, we went to a Sir
We
Baby
did.
Girl concert together.
That's true. I thought about putting it on here, but I didn't. It's true. We went to a Sir Baby Girl
It was
concert.
great.
Okay,
And
it
the
was like
pom-poms opened, if
Yes.
that's anything to anybody.
yes, it is.
Kitty and Ricky Eat Acid. I don't know his real name, I'm sorry to say.
It was maybe my, like, truthfully, maybe my sixth time seeing them live.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe more.
Many times. We
it was
have
our
not.
first
Was
time.
it
was
your
our
first
time seeing them
time?
live. Yeah,
What
it was
were your
great.
impressions?
It was a good show.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
a great show.
Defying Gravity.
Okay. The artist Sir Baby Girl made a promise
Mhm.
that if the show was sold out, they would sing Defying Gravity, which I was like, it's got to sell out, their star. And please, whether it sells out or not, sing the song. It happened. It was
There's video on Twitter.
It was so
It was fun.
cute.
It was fun, and it was particularly fun. My favorite thing is seeing the people in the audience who hadn't seen the tweets leading up to this moment, not knowing what was about to happen.
yes.
Then realizing what was happening.
Yes.
Then singing along because they were extremely into it and were also clearly like theater kids. Like,
yeah. That whole energy genuinely made me cry.
Jerry was crying the whole song.
I don't.
I
I don't know Defying Gravity. I cried the whole song.
It was so pure and precious. I was like the whole concert, the whole time that they were singing full out because I love their album. I think that
Yeah.
they're an amazing vocalist, amazing
what's the
performer.
album called? What's the album called?
It's
We
called
should say.
Crush on Me.
Crush on, of course.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
fantastic.
it's so good.
It is. It's a great album.
They're very funny. They love to sort of combine a lot of sort of like early 2000s pop,
Yeah.
sort of like mix up, very funny.
I think,
It's
yeah,
great.
if you've
They're
been watching
great.
the show, we
We've-
love when pop music is good.
Yeah, we do.
We love it.
And
we
this is the
hate
album.
when pop music is bad. But that is not something we're talking about, and it doesn't have anything to do with the title of the episode.
But it was great. I'm always so amazed
Yeah.
at seeing them live. I think that they have an incredible instrument and
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were fantastic.
surrounded by friends. It was an
Yeah,
amazing.
it was a
It's
great
fun show.
time. Beautiful weather. It was a rooftop.
Amazing
It was,
sunset.
yeah. That's a rooftop space, and it was really pretty because the show doors for the show were really early.
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say
And the show
time,
was
but I
really
was
like right
why?
at sunset. Like it.
Doors
sort
were
of-
at 6. I don't care.
Doors
I'll-
were at 6.
I'll dox what time the doors were. What are you concerned about? Yeah, it was doors were at 6, but the show didn't start till much later, so we were on the roof. Or not all of it, but we
Yeah.
saw the sunset
Yeah.
up there, and it was pretty.
It was lovely. It was
I
just
was
a great
taking
time.
so many pictures.
It was great. Yeah.
If you have my number, text me. I'll send them to you. They're great.
Yeah. It was a great time. He was amazing. Everything was wonderful.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm like, here's my number.
It was a good show. The drinks were a little expensive. I'm just like,
The drinks were
It
mad
truly
expensive, though.
was outrageous.
Okay, we live in New York, okay, and we're talking.
we're not used to the prices. Just to be
We're
clear, we
talking
live
about-
in
It
the
was
city.
outrageous for New York.
It
It
was
was
like-
a bit.
was
it
it
was a
not-
bit much for New York.
Was it not $8 for like?
It
was
wasn't.
Bud
It was.
Light?
It was $9.
It was $9 for a can of Brooklyn Lager. It was $13 for a Pacifico Pounder.
Okay,
It truly was kind of expensive.
It was ludicrous.
it was $9. You know those like Trulies, the
Yeah,
sparkling
yeah.
water, the alcoholic sparkling water. That was $9.
It truly was a little bit expensive.
Pacifico.
It was truly a little bit
It
expensive.
was honestly ridiculous.
And you know what I did? I said, take my card.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I blacked out.
We gotta
not
go.
Have a
not
nice
from the
time.
alcohol, just from the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, I wanted the experience, and I thought it was, well, the tickets were cheap, too.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
balanced out.
It's true.
Oh yeah. It was great. But that was so fun. I was so glad that you guys
It was so much fun.
got
They
to
were-
see them
yeah,
live.
They
Finally.
were fabulous.
It was
Yeah. Maybe weird that we hadn't previously. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
truly, it was unforgivable. But now that you have, I've found that I can move on.
Yeah.
Well, we've got another
Yeah.
great video.
We do?
Yeah, of course. We got another tip here. We
Oh
got another
my
tip.
God! More
We got another
tips.
tip from our Midwest office. Sorry, I got a text on my phone. I thought it was Nick being like, play my other video. For some reason, that is what I instinctually thought it was going to be. But it wasn't, of course.
Yeah, Nick, who is currently at work.
He's at work. It's fine.
He's working.
Like, I know you haven't given me enough screen time, Harper.
Let's take in some other tips from from the panel before we Before we do go to that other video. Because I thought we were going to use that as an excuse to get the other bottle of wine, but we did that before, so.
Okay.
You've got a note open.
Yeah. Okay, one of my favorite tips when I'm angry is I do something that I have decided to call noodling out.
Okay, I love it.
Okay, in order to noodle out, it's best to have access to something where you can play music very loudly.
Tricky to do. I'm nervous about but headphones work?
Headphones are fine.
Headphones work.
Anything where you're just like blasting something. I was like so mad the other day, and I was like, I want to listen to someone absolutely screaming. I was like playing some Bikini Kill. I was like, let's just like blast this ass. Okay, let's go. You blast it. Then you let your body be a bunch of noodles. You just kind of throw your whole body around. Or, like, if you can't do it in the privacy of your own home, there are many events that you can go to. There's many, maybe a club or something.
Like a noodling party.
The noodling party, where you just sort of, like, throw your whole body around and you sort of, like, let you're really
you just, like, hit a mosh
shaking
pit.
it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love to do that. I do it also when I'm not angry, like maybe you saw at the Sir Baby Girl concert, me just sort of like jumping up and down a lot and
I wasn't paying attention to you at all.
I mean, I feel like people at concerts jump up and down in a way that I did not notice that you were at a concert jumping up. That's what people do. That's what you do at a concert. Oh my God, I fucking can't.
All right, great.
Oh.
God, it's torture to not have constant attention, in a way.
Okay, and I fucking need it.
In a way.
So I committed to the bit of chugging the wine, and now I'm going to be full wine chat, okay?
I mean, truly, I think you are, because you were saying you were... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. We're all wine chatting. It's a wine chat, folks.
But I love to sort of like remember that I can just kind of like throw my body and throw my limbs around, and that kind of like brings me back. Like, that is so much fun. I love to do that.
I will say I do a version of that, which is I don't exercise as a general rule. It's not my thing. But every once in a while, like whether it's an anger or an anxiety thing, I just need to like music all the way up and then just go for a run. And just like fully like disassociate from my body, just like overwhelm myself with.
Sometimes it's so fun to just be like, oh my God, I can like do something so hard.
Right.
Because I love to be sort of soft and horizontal a lot.
Yeah. And it's good to just like feel like the like burn. Like it's probably honestly almost like a borderline masochistic thing. Just be like, I'm gonna fucking run. I'm gonna run until it hurts.
Yeah.
Which for me is like 5 steps.
Honestly, same.
But yeah, like I will absolutely do that.
Love to noodle out. Love to noodle. I was going to say, like, I kept making jokes on the call when we were organizing the show about calling it blowing your load.
Sure.
But that is...
Instead of blowing your lid, yeah.
That is, like, a good way to de-stress, but also, like, sometimes you're just too mad to blow your load.
Honestly, I love to be so mad that I have to come.
Did everybody see that? Did anybody see... You know, I only saw it because I made it onto Twitter, but did anybody else see it was a Reddit thread where someone had posted about, like, I'm gonna have to ban my nephew.
Oh my God, yeah. It was
I'm gonna have to ban my nephew from jerking off because it's too loud.
It was on Am I the Asshole?
It makes too much noise when he finishes.
Oh no!
Anyway, look it up because she says it sounds like pennies being poured into a bucket.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing. I need to know more.
Anyway, that's all. That's not important. That's not an important
No, but
one.
I have seen that. I did see that.
Yeah, I'm glad that someone else saw that.
I did look up, like, I actually looked at, like, the WikiHow of, like, how to not be angry.
Because you wanted to see, like, a 2-color drawing of someone holding a wet cloth to their forehead?
Yes. And honestly, like, Emma was making so much fun of me because I opened it up and I was like, actually, these are pretty good tips. And she was like, your mind is like, you know, she was like, you're like, whoa. Because it
Wait
was
a
like,
minute, there's some, wait, people are doing good with the internet as well?
I was like, wow, this is actually like really thoughtful. It was like, realize that there are some things that are out of your control. And I was like,
Well,
that's true.
I
was like,
boy, does that upset me further, I'll say.
yeah, the way that they said it was like,
The fact that I have no power is, to me, one of the most frustrating things.
oh,
Because
I think it was like, yeah.
Because the people that do have power
Are
don't
bad.
do anything. They don't do anything.
They're bad. It was like, recognize that like resentment is not a productive emotion.
Sure.
Which I was like, true. And I love to be resentful.
Yeah.
And I love to hold a grudge,
Yeah,
honestly.
Of course, hold on
It's like
to
I
it.
never forget anything. And my partner is so good at just being like, I've let it go.
Not
and
me. I don't ever let things go.
Okay,
I let so many things go.
I've got grudges from high school that I still feel right about.
I let so many things go.
I believe it about you, and that is extreme cucumber energy.
I love to. This is my actually, and I know we like. Shit
Aaron,
on the,
thank you for your comments.
Thank
I
you,
see that you're
Aaron.
gonna have to jump off. Thanks for the comments.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Yes. I know we've like shit on it as a process, and I understand that it's bad when you're not the one who's mad. But I will just fully talk my way through like who I'm angry at, like where they're coming from, what they actually meant, like what I perceived it as, and then like it'll be like, and my poor like office mate has to deal with me doing this as I like respond to emails all the time where I'm like, can you believe? And then at the end I'm like, oh, actually like they didn't mean anything, like it's fine.
Right.
Like, and it's like a 15-minute like me talking.
Which is good because when I'm angry, I take things extremely personally. Like I'm like, someone is saying this exactly to hurt me in a specific way. Like I'm like, my favorite, which I've already said it once this episode, and I've said it over the last couple of days, is like, I love to be like, if you know me, you should know to not say it to me. Which is like very scary and actually impossible to predict.
I'm
for
honestly
someone else.
horrified of what I've said to you that like you're like holding.
Yeah, earlier when you were like, never ask me when I'm free.
Like, that's absolutely unfair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like stuff like that where I'm like, if you knew me, you would know to not ask my availability. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Whereas someone can be like,
But it's true. Yesterday I was literally in your neighborhood and I didn't text you at all asking if you were free.
And
I did not want to hang out. No,
and I'm like, honestly, respect. I'm like, real,
I'm
recognize
just-
real. No.
and someone
But
can
yeah.
literally to me be like, you're an asshole and you fucked up. And I'm like, well, but they like didn't mean like that, like to hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wait, do we have more tips from our...
We have one more tip, yeah.
Okay, let's get.
Should we
Yeah,
watch
let's take
it?
a look at it. Let's take a look at it. We know it's going to be good. Let's take that down. Let's take a look at our second tip of the night from our correspondent at large, Nick Sanchez.
Folks, it's Nick Sanchez with Secret Handshake back once again for my second tip on how not to be so angry all the time. You know, when I get angry, I think about what I call the pits and how you don't want to get into the pits. The pits is something where you're angry for a while and you just can't let that anger go, and then it turns into sadness and you just don't want to do anything. You just want to wallow in your anger and those negative feelings, and then a hearse drives up to your house and an undertaker comes in and throws you in a body bag and throws you into a pit. That's right, this is not a metaphorical pit. This is a literal actual pit. This is a service that I am providing called The Pits that bags up angry people and throws them into a ditch. That's right. This is a business that I am starting, Nick Sanchez's Pits. So if you don't want to be angry anymore, for $9.99 a month, whenever you get angry, a man will come to your house and toss you into the ocean.
All right, wow, that ended abruptly, but Nick announcing
it.
he is changing his N to a T, everybody. No longer is he Nick Pin Sanchez. He is now Nick Pitts Sanchez.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. I didn't have any time to come up with it, which is why I came out hot with the energy.
Oh my god, no, I love that.
Sometimes I need to be pitted.
Yeah.
I would love to be pitted. Also, like, can you just take me to the beach? Like, is that what? Like,
We are
We're going
to
to
the
the beach.
Well, he said he would pick me up, throw me in the ocean. Honestly, that sounds
We're
great.
going to the beach this week, folks.
Yeah.
And
We
you
are.
don't get to come with us. I'm
Ooh,
sorry to say.
sorry.
Although I will say, if you have the access and the means, another great way to deal with anger, just go get your ass kicked by a wave.
Okay, one of my
If you have
tweets
the
in my
means, I
drafts.
highly suggest
One of my
picking one
tweets in my drafts is
Just go fight the ocean. It's so good.
one of my tweets in
Sorry.
my drafts. One of
trying
my
to fill the
tweets
space while
in
you
my
got your
drafts.
drafts.
No, yeah. It is. Ugh. Every time I go to the beach, I get topped by Daddy Poseidon because okay. Listen, we're at Rockaway Beach, the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, she's here to play.
She fucking.
She
You,
throws.
anytime I go to the beach, okay, we go to the queer beach. I see so many.
It is the best beach.
It is the best beach.
It is the best beach.
So many gays, so many queers get absolutely beat the fuck up by the ocean. Just like full, like they're standing there like, oh, like.
It's actually. No, this is a
kind of
rude
scary.
thought. This is a rude thought I'm having, but it is
Go.
weird that more bigots don't show up just to see people get knocked over
I
by
mean-
the waves.
I'm like,
It's a rude thought, but it's.
I know. And that's why I said every time I go to the beach, I get topped by Daddy Poseidon.
Yeah, I love it. I love to fight the ocean. It is so soothing.
It's cold.
It's cold. It'll like hit you just a little. Like,
Yeah.
you can go back as many times as you want.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you're just like,
I don't.
Harbor doesn't go in the ocean.
The worst part about getting topped by the ocean is like you have to pretend that you're fine.
You have to go when you come up. You go. It's fine.
You're like
I'm yelling.
Like
I'm yelling. I'm so sorry for
You're
the audio.
choking. You have water in your eyes. You're like, it's so disorienting, and yet you have to show everyone that like you're good.
fine.
I'm great.
You're
I
good.
did it on purpose.
I can't wait for it to happen to me in 2 days.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna happen.
No day, but 2 days. Okay. What else do we have?
Okay, we
Oh,
didn't
we don't have another
we
one.
didn't actually we didn't actually talk about any more 10 other than the Survey
Oh,
Girl
yeah.
concert.
You're right. We didn't.
I read a bunch of books.
Jerry read books.
A bunch?
I don't know.
It was Pride Month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the
The
Stonewall Reader?
Yeah, if you'd like
Yeah.
to. Eventually, will you lend it to me?
That's the plan.
Yes.
The plan is that as soon as Nini's done with it, it will enter our house.
Okay.
And 1 to 2 of us will read it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's so
Because
good.
as you know, Stonewall, it's important because that's where Lady Gaga performed recently.
And Taylor Swift.
Well, sure.
It was the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. I admittedly know nothing about gay history, and now understanding that I'm a lesbian, I'm like, wow, I gotta learn about this. I gotta know what's up. So I bought this book called The Stonewall Reader, which is a compilation of sort of like essays and other pieces. I haven't finished it. I'm almost done with it. But it is a book that I believe the essays and pieces of it are like pulled from like the New York Public Library, or like it's like something like in conjunction with the New York Public Library.
Okay.
Which their
They just
Stonewall
had-
exhibit is open until the 13th.
what?
The New York Public Library has a Remembering the History of Stonewall exhibit that is
The
going
main big
until
one with
July
the
13th.
lions
The one with
has-
the lions.
yeah.
I haven't
Let's
been to see
go.
it yet, but I really want to. And we have like time
we
is
were
ticking.
in there and I wanted to go, but we
Yeah.
didn't have an opportunity.
I
so
would
yeah.
love to go.
Yeah.
Let's do it this weekend.
So I
Anyway.
specifically, because the history of the history of Stonewall riots is like very notoriously whitewashed, very cis gay, white gay centered. I wanted to find a book that was actually about like the black and brown trans women who were actually like doing the shit. And that's what this book was, like, very blatantly was like, this is what it's gonna be. I tried to, there's an introduction by, don't know his name, who was like, this is what it's gonna be. It's split into 3 parts. So there's like essays about what it was like being gay before Stonewall happened. So like in the late 40s, but mostly 50s, during Stonewall. So a bunch of accounts of people who were actually there. And then I'm in the last section, which is after Stonewall, a bunch of essays or pieces of literature that were released after Stonewall happened and how the lives of gay and trans people were affected by the movement. It is absolutely sort of changing the whole game for me. I'm like reading the book, sort of being like, wow, I guess I need to like stop everything and just kind of like get into organizing and like,
honestly, that is a thought I have that thought every day.
That is where we're at. I definitely think that's where we're at.
Which is something that I've been thinking for the last 3 or 4 years. And I don't want to say that the things that have happened in the last couple of years haven't.
There's no doubt in my mind that for at least me personally, it's pushed me further. There's no doubt. And I should have been more aware.
Yes.
I give myself... I'm speaking for myself personally because I don't want to put things on you. But like, it's easy to let yourself off the hook for being young and things like that. But things have been bad for a long time.
Yeah.
Always, maybe.
Yeah.
But I also don't think there's necessarily shame in being like, I am further...
Yeah.
It's become more clear to more people recently.
Right. Yeah. For me, I have realized, I'm going to get real on this Handshake show tonight.
We're doing it,
y'all.
folks.
We're doing it in Wine Chat. I'm in the realization of understanding that I'm a lesbian. And with being a lesbian, what really resonates with me is the political identity that comes with it. It's obviously, no matter if you are in the LGBTQ community at all, it is also a political identity. But I didn't really understand that, and it was like, as I started to understand that it is a political identity, I was also understanding that I was a lesbian, and now I'm sort of like, okay, now it's like these things coming together. I owe the people who came before me, like I owe them, I have a responsibility. Yeah. And this book is so fucking good. I mean, it's absolutely bananas. Like,
I'm sure it's also probably only the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean,
it's a slim novel.
It can only be.
Yes, it is. But there is literally an essay from a trans man from like 1958.
Trans people have always existed.
Always.
It's a normal thing to be.
And it's like,
extremely a normal thing to be.
The gender binary is very much a Western hegemonic.
Yeah.
Yes, and like, but it's like reading this perspective from a trans man who has undergone gender confirmation surgery and trying to get his name changed. Like, there's an essay about that, which I'm like absolutely what? Like, of course that makes sense that people don't know about it. Like, that's on purpose. That's not,
Absolutely.
That's not, that's not just like, oh, I didn't know. Like, but the sort of like, there are a handful of essays about, from like black lesbians and black gay men who like the intersection of like that happened, the civil rights movement happening, them feeling alienated from that movement, them feeling alienated from the gay rights movement because obviously it was like, very racist because white supremacy, and just like the struggles of those people like Audre Lorde and, like, it's just absolutely...
Secret Handshake's #1 most influential person. Thank you.
Okay.
Go back.
Yeah.
I think Marsha might have been #1.
Oh, did Marsha
Marsha
Marsha took #1? Hey, fair enough.
And there are two 2 interviews with her in the book. There's a couple of, there might be 2, definitely one with Sylvia Rivera. Both of them started STAR, which is Street
Transvestites.
Action Revolutionary.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I think so.
Which, like, you know, which is sad to read because it's happening today, where those are the people, the disenfranchised people who are not being cared for.
Right.
And those are the people who were fucking there, who were at Stonewall, and started, you know, like, just like, it's a very good book.
It is. I mean, I can't wait to read it.
I read one of the essays in it, and it made me cry. It was about free speech.
Such an exciting transition for us to talk about Tales of the City, a TV show we watched. But before we do that, I do want to say, like, I think more frequently, the way I think about, or a filter that I put this through, is that I think about artworks and the idea that there are some artworks that are created out of an emotional state or a desire to express something, and there are some artworks that are created as a response to previous artworks, and sometimes those are the same thing, whatever. I think about that a lot, but I don't always think about the fact that, like, everyday things or, like, constant struggles also have a similar structure. So while I feel like I have a good understanding of, like, rights for people, and I think that it's, like, I don't feel like I need history to teach me, like, that people have value and that, etc. But I do think that there's value in learning it just to see whose shoulders, like, we're standing on.
Exactly. Exactly that. I feel like the phrase, like, the first Pride was a riot. Like, Stonewall was a riot. Like, that is a phrase that sort of circulates, which is true. But, like, reading about it and understanding, like, I now know, like, what, I mean, you don't know what happened. That's sort of the thing. Is that,
it's a poorly documented thing.
But that's what's really cool about the book, is that they included a bunch of different accounts, because it's like you piece together sort of, you know, there are similarities in each essay. What differs? Why does it differ? Who is the person that's writing it?
Yeah.
Where are the
It's like if the movie Vantage Point was interesting.
And just like, and just, you know, it made me sort of be like, I went to Dyke March. It was my first Dyke March on Saturday.
I saw it last year.
And, like, you know, I was ready to fully fight a cop. Like, I really was, because I was like, wow, like, I'm reading these people who were, like, you know, like, they started by, like, throwing pennies at the cops who were sort of doing their raid of the Stonewall, but they were trying to shut it down. And this was, like, a known gay bar, but specifically, like, held, like, drag queens and trans women. Like, a few of them were allowed in. And the resistance and how there was levity in it, and there were drag queens who were doing kick lines at the cops, but it was also, we're kicking over, sort of like we're picking up trash cans and throwing, like,
the sort
actual, like
violent, desperate joy of
standing
up to someone who is so hell-bent on putting you down, and how, like, that's not just an emotion of anger, it's also an emotion of, like, relief, and, like, so much, like, outpouring of, this is what we are doing now.
And, like, community in a way, which there had been other, you know, gay rights riots and things like that, but Stonewall felt singular, and, like, why is that? And
it wasn't one particular identity. It was so
Y'all,
many queer identities.
obviously, I'm really fucked up about it. It's an amazing book.
You should read, it's a really quick read. There's an article that came out in Slate, like, a few days ago. I don't know if you've already seen it. And it's very much about how people always talk about, there's always people saying like, oh, well, that didn't really happen at Stonewall. That's not really what Stonewall is. And it's talking about how like it doesn't matter what really happened at Stonewall. Like it's about like the sense of community and the
I didn't read it, but I saw that
being like a really powerful, important thing for our community, and how Stonewall doesn't have to be exactly one thing in order for it to still be so.
Which I saw that headline and I was like, that feels very similar to the theme of the book.
It feels very much in line.
It's also probably a good thing to state at this point. We've talked a tremendous amount about Stonewall. It's very important. At this point in history, now, 2019, Stonewall, I would say, is over.
I mean, the
location is finished.
They're bad.
It is finished entirely, just to be clear.
Yeah.
It is entirely a corporate space bent on selling its identity as that. It is.
There's room for a renaissance and a reclamation, but it is not there.
Sure. I mean, from the things that I've seen over the past month, over the past couple of weeks, over the past weekend specifically, that is not a space that is still revolutionary.
No.
It is bought into a very different type of pride, which is not really the one that I think any of us are interested in engaging with.
I will say, so this isn't a current temp, but I was just recommending it to someone else. I don't think it's necessarily something that is needed for the
She's
people
going to the bookshelf.
who, sorry, I don't think it's necessarily something that's needed for the people who watch the show, but if you've got people who are sort of cuspy who you might be interested in sharing with. I read this book like 5 years ago when it was still like,
this is The Trouble with Normal.
This is called The Trouble with Normal, and it's about how, it's essentially about how, like, corporate pride and things like that, and, like, letting in certain people who are, like, acceptable is ultimately damaging to everybody.
There was tons of discourse this year about bondage gear at Pride, right? This is something that I think we probably all saw on the internet. Tons of discourse about it, and what's it for? It's welcome, right? I mean, what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this one is actually, I did forget because I haven't read it in a few years. It is the technical thing is about, here, let me read the little blurb on the back.
I saw some boys in leather on the front cover, so it made me think that, obviously.
Michael Warner, one of our most brilliant social, blah, 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 I don't know about that, argues that gay marriage and other moves toward normalcy are bad, not just for gays, but for everyone in place of sexual status quo. Warner offers a visual of true sexual autonomy that will forever change the way we think about sex, shame, and identity, and how, like, we shouldn't be arguing to move into these spaces, but instead to destroy them.
Yes, which is
again,
literally the discourse that was happening with, like, this group, this sort of conservative gray group called the Mattachine Society, which was basically like, at the time in the 1950s, it was like psychiatrists were being like, being gay is a disorder.
Sure.
So the argument from the
literally just took that out of the thing for being trans. So.
Yes.
It was
for the Mattachine Society was come to the protest dressed, the lesbians are in dresses and the gay men are in suits because we are just like you. And then through Stonewall, it's like really interesting to see through the different works because they don't offer any context or any.
I'm not interested in fitting into that.
Which was
system.
the thing is like after Stonewall, it was like fuck that. Like I'm not trying. You're trying to abide by rules that are created by straight people. Like I don't need you to see me as being straight. Like I am gay and like I can be.
Right.
I can be feminine. I can be flamboyant. I can be butch. I can, like I can be like a gender traitor or whatever.
And every right you get through conformity is denying of a right for someone who will not or cannot conform. Like,
okay, honestly, love this wine chat. We are digging the fuck in. Okay.
I mean, I don't know that we're doing anything that's really deeper than surface, but at the same time, like I know that
for a comedy stream,
hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's tricky.
Yeah, these are things that make us.
It's tricky to do comedy when we're thinking about these things at all the time.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That being said, Stonewall Reader, excellent. Yeah. Excellent read. There are definitely things in it that I was like,
Of course. How could there not be? How could there not be?
Yeah.
Just want to give that disclaimer, but especially from a lot of cis white gay people sort of comparing gay rights to the rights of like Black Americans, because the civil rights movement is happening, sort of being like, we have it just as bad or worse, which I'm like, but then what about people who are Black and gay?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that happens, which is like kind of embarrassing to read. But then but there are also essays included by Black queer people, Black queer and trans people, who...
It was a time before intersectionality was a buzzword. Obviously, I'm not saying intersection.
Right.
It wasn't before intersectionality, because that's outrageous, but like before it was something that like we make even mainstream critics be cognizant of. Yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about Tales of the City.
Go off.
I mean, should we? It seems like it's so in line with the things that we're talking about.
It is really. We watched
It's a Netflix miniseries.
We watched the Netflix
Or like
miniseries Tales of the City.
Special event. I forget what they call it. It's what they're saying so that they're not being like, they're not committing to making more of it. Really.
It's one in a long line. This is something we learned after we were like
It's
a
like
couple
the
episodes
fourth,
in.
probably?
It's like the fourth. It's kind of a like a Degrassi Next Generation.
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
a
yeah,
Star Trek's Next Generation sort of thing. Where
Yeah.
It's this show has
Again,
existed with
Tales
this cast.
of the City is what we're talking about. Tales of the City is what it's called, and there were like three or four previous iterations
with
in
a
some
lot
form
of the
or
same
another.
people. Laura Linney was the main character
we're
of the first
fully,
one,
yeah, you're
and she's
kind
like
of
us.
jumping ahead, but
sorry.
yeah.
No.
Just to say that now it's a Netflix thing, and they've brought in both a cast of younger people to fill out like current people, as well as, in the same way, honestly, Netflix and their whole thing is almost finished, right?
What do you
I mean, surely it's almost done. They're not like good at making content anymore. Like,
What are they doing?
I guess some people are liking it, but like, especially when you
They're
see
taking The Office off?
well, I don't give a shit about that. But
I
like,
know,
when
I
you
was
see
making a
like
joke.
the corporate partnerships they're doing for like season 3 of Stranger Things, and how like they're incorporating new Coke into the season 3 arc or whatever, it's like, I think Netflix is pretty much finished in terms of making anything interesting.
Sure.
That said, we watched Tales of the City, which is on Netflix. So yes, there's a lot of the original, the people that had been in this previously, which we should say we haven't seen anything before this. Haven't seen anything at all before this. But it's the story of a house in San Francisco run by a trans woman. The character is a trans woman who is played by Olympia Dukakis, and has been historically played by Olympia Dukakis.
Since the early 90s, maybe late 80s. So
And
it's a little bit like, like...
We're, of course, criticizing the show because it's a cis actor playing a trans character.
Bad.
It's bad. I would personally say, although I'm of course not the spokesperson, that I do think a cis woman playing a trans woman is better than a cis man playing a trans woman.
That's true.
That said, it's fucking stupid that I have to even discuss the levels of what badness,
Oh, yeah.
And the show knows a little bit. They do a flashback.
Maybe. I would say that the thing that we found most interesting, or at least that I found most interesting, I won't speak for Jerry, is that very early on in this series, they lay out the fact that a major plot point is going to be that Olympia Dukakis' character...
Anna,
I should know their names. Anna, I don't know character names ever, is...
Anna Madrigal.
Anna Madrigal
They
is
say it a
being...
lot.
They do say it a lot. I've got the IMDb page open. Is being blackmailed because she is a fraud. So, watching the show...
We were immediately like, oh, are they going to like call themselves out?
I thought maybe it was going to
I
be...
wish... Whatever.
That she was cis pretending to be trans because it's Olympia Dukakis.
Right.
I don't know. I thought maybe...
Like, we weren't sure what the implications there would be.
What I would
We
say
didn't
is
think it
that
was a good
I
way to
don't
handle-
know how the show could not think that I might think about that.
Yeah.
That would be my main criticism. How could the show not know
Harper
that
was
I
very
might
much
think?
like, it has to be that.
Either has to be that, or they've done a very bad thing where they do not realize
That we would
that is the
automatically think
thing
that.
that we must think of. That we must think of when we think of her being a fraud.
Right. I mean, Without a fucking doubt.
I'll say that that's not what it is. I guess I won't say what it actually is, though.
No,
I was going to say I
is.
wish that it was.
In the spirit of not spoiling things, I'll say that that's not what it
Yeah.
is. It is good.
And I don't think it's a spoiler to say they do a flashback and they do
The
have-
flashback is, in a way, some of the better stuff.
Right, and in the flashback, there are a lot of...
It's tricky.
There are a lot of actual trans
In the flashback, a
performers.
trans person actually plays the trans character.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So I think that they must know a little bit.
Right, I
They
think
know
they
a
know
little bit.
They know better than to cast someone today, but I don't know if they know enough to feel bad about,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, probably a weird conversation if you haven't seen the show.
Yeah,
but it's
sorry.
got Ellen Page in it. You know,
I
she's
really-
a Netflix person now.
Yeah.
Netflix has their people.
I
Ellen
did-
Page is
I
a
really-
Netflix person. Charlie Barnett is a Netflix person.
I
These are
enjoyed
Netflix
it in the
actors.
way, like, I love a soap opera.
I'm not saying they have exclusive
Love.
development deals or anything like that.
Love
but
a
these are
soap
people who
opera.
repeatedly appear in their shows.
It's not necessarily amazing acting. It's not necessarily, like, reasonable plots, but I think
Oh, there's
it was
bad stuff in the show.
as a-
I was mad
As
at
a
the show.
soap opera, I think it was lovely. The show does some shitty stuff.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Did you see the clip going around about the dinner scene?
I
Yes,
know.
that
I
is
have
the-
not
that's
seen
what
the
it is.
clip, but I
No.
know what you're talking about.
So
I mean,
what the
Harper's
fuck
maddest
is-
about? Yeah, it's bad.
Okay.
thing that made me the angriest in the
The
series.
show thinks that it's criticizing those people, but it's not criticizing those people enough.
Not nearly enough.
Great. I wanted your opinion because I feel like
I was furious.
I feel like on Twitter there were
I didn't see this. I
It
didn't
was
see
like
the Twitter.
people being
I didn't
like-
see the Twitter thing about this.
okay, it was like it
But
was
I know
like
what you're. I know
generally
inherently what you're talking
generally what I would probably think are sort of like liberal people seeing it being like this is great, and then it was like people that I follow who are like left being like I had to stop. I
It's
couldn't.
frustrating. It's so
Okay,
frustrating.
yeah.
And
So I
this
was
is
like-
what I find with all of the like queer television, and I guess particularly that Netflix produces, although it's a complicated criticism because who else is producing it? I'm sorry. Yeah, I slurred my words a little bit when I said complicated criticism.
You're
I still
good,
think
baby.
I'm doing coherent criticism.
You're doing a great job. I'm drunk.
Yeah, that scene.
We're all
okay,
drunk. That
Gab's
was
in
the
the
whole
comments.
point.
Gab's in the comments saying that scene made me so
Yeah,
damn
it's a
mad.
fucking
it was
shitty
infuriating.
scene.
And the thing is, they did make it they made it deliberately infuriating, and then they felt so fucking smug about themselves because they got both sound bites. You know what I mean? Like from like a TV perspective, they're like, we got the sound bite where the like old
We
white
should explain
gay
what we're
says
talking
that-
about. We have to explain what we're talking about
Yeah,
for people without
just-
context,
yeah.
which is that there is a couple on the show. There's an older guy who had been on in previous
Mm-hmm.
iterations of the show,
Michael.
named Michael apparently, who has a who has a who has a younger boyfriend
Ben.
who named Ben, and
How much younger?
They go to
Ben
an
is
event.
28. Michael's in his early 50s.
There is a significant
Okay.
age gap.
It's a significant age gap.
It's honestly one of the better relationships in the show, and
28
it's so
is
not
fine.
saying much.
28 is
like
fine.
I got mad and I was like, this guy should break up with.
I
the
was
old guy.
nervous it was going to
Yeah.
be like 22 and 48.
He is
No.
nearly
I will
30.
say-
He can do what
yeah.
he wants. I don't know.
Ben,
Like
the character of Ben, I do think, Gabs, tell me if you think I'm wrong. The character of Ben, other than the fact that he stays with Michael,
probably a top 5
is
character.
good. Yeah.
Probably a top 5 character, and it's not hard to fill this top
So,
5 slots. But
They're
listen,
at a dinner party. It's Michael's
It's
friends.
older, rich,
Or who-
cis, white gay men.
And the implication is that Michael
Bye.
doesn't get along with them, but like
He
almost
did. He
gets,
used
but
to.
He used to. They're
He
like his
used
old
to run
crowd.
with this crowd, and he does.
And
he doesn't
like,
anymore. But
recognizes they're bad.
And honestly, it's explicitly laid out that the reason that he doesn't in the show is because he was ostracized for having AIDS. Like, I mean,
HIV.
okay, sure, yes, but I mean, that's the
Right.
case, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. So, yeah, he broke up with, and like, but so the whole thing is one of them says.
He says a slur. He
says
says a slur for transgendered people.
He says a slur.
The one
and
that you hear
then-
always, obviously.
Yeah, and then Ben, who is there, who is.
He
by-
very
who's by
casually he goes,
decades-
"Hey, I don't think we say that word anymore."
Yeah, he does like a I'm like.
It's a real casual. There's a pat on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
It's burned in my memory. Whatever.
Yeah, and then this person, the person who said it, like drills into him, aghast that his language is being policed at like a gay dinner party.
He's like, I'm gay. I
Right.
think I can say anything I like. I think that I actually should get to say slurs because I've had slurs levied against me.
There's
so
like an emotionally
instead
manipulative use of the AIDS crisis.
Instead of taking to heart, how that made me feel and deciding that perhaps no one should ever feel that way or be treated that way, I've decided that in fact I should get to behave that way because I'm a rich white man.
And like that person gets to deliver a whole speech about why they feel like they're entitled.
It really gives him an awful lot of screen time.
They give him the whole soundbite.
Really give him a whole argument he gets to lay out there.
In the whole soundbite, it's truly
in the
shitty.
Television show that was written by a person presumably and could do anything.
But then the show pats itself on the back because Ben gets up and leaves, and then away from
way
those
too
people,
late, by the way.
Without having to confront
way
them.
Too late he leaves.
Right, he gets to finish the speech. Like, surprise, surprise! Like white guy gets to finish his speech.
Gets to lay out his whole dumbass privileged perspective.
And then so he and Michael go out, and then Ben delivers the counter speech, which is
privately to his boyfriend, and also
so,
somewhat
the
apologizes
show
for making a scene.
I'm like, bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
bye.
Fucking
them
done.
Not breaking up is one of the
yeah. Honestly, the fact that they keep hanging out with that guy, it's like fuck. Not the guy who does the thing, but there's another guy who's there.
Yeah,
Whatever.
There's a guy who's there
the
are
show
a bunch
or
of people
don't.
co-signing it. But yeah, and Ben does a whole thing where he's like, "Are you really gonna tell me a black man in a room full of gay people that I don't know what it's like to be oppressed?"
I would say, if I can say overall, I think the show's kind of transphobic. Overall, I think the show's kind of transphobic.
I think that is. They don't think they are.
They don't think they are, but I think they are.
Yeah.
I think they kind of are. There's trans actors, there's good stuff, but there's
they spend too much time examining.
Yeah, they give too much time to the argument that these people don't deserve to be people.
And
I
feel like people come to the right decision, but there's no.
It's not. It's truly just to be 100% clear on this show's perspective. There is nothing even remotely complicated about it. That's just a normal thing that's fine. Anyone can do or be anything, and gender is not real.
Gender is not real. That's the thing is I'm like, to me, not knowing anything about, knowing from the show, what you guys have told me, and sort of my very, very brief interactions with it online, I'm just sort of like, okay, it sounds to me like, it's like, when people who don't have sort of the language to talk about trans people talk to me about how hard it is to understand trans people.
Yeah.
It feels like that. It's feeling sort of it feels like people are but it is so hard to it is so hard to wrap your mind around. And I'm like, it's really fucking not.
It's not.
There are certainly people.
It's literally not.
I don't think it is either. I think there are certainly people who believe that they've never met a trans person and don't know how to speak. And in a way, I have sympathy for that. In a way. It's very small way.
Everybody has different points of access.
And I will also say...
Yes.
Sorry.
But what I would say is, if you find yourself in that position, if you're saying, I don't know anyone...
You do.
First of all, you probably do. But second of all, that is a personal problem. That is not something you should be putting on other people. You should take it onto yourself to open your sphere and take in the perspectives of some people that perhaps don't live exactly like you do, or maybe, in fact, live exactly like you do, but don't receive the treatment that you do because you're living in a space of privilege. Twitter exists. The internet exists.
The internet
exists.
It's
so easy.
There's no excuse.
It's so easy to find these people if you're even remotely... I mean, honestly, long as you are not looking to exclude them, is what I would say.
Everybody has a fucking super fucking computer in their fucking pocket at all times.
Yeah.
Or access to one. I mean, I don't want to say that you are not required to have a smartphone to do this.
You're not. But I am saying that so many people who are I've literally had someone look at me and been like, help me, educate me.
Educate yourself. That's what I'm going to say. Educate yourself. It's your responsibility.
Bitch, you literally are getting paid 6 figures at the job that you work at. What are you talking about? You have a better iPhone than I do. You have access to the internet. What do you mean? Why are you asking? Okay.
And if
yeah.
you're looking for some good Twitter followers,
Okay.
check out our list of the most 100 influential people. Some of them are dead and some of them are concepts, but baby, the rest of them you can follow on Twitter. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I constantly have trouble with the narrative of, I just don't know. I've only ever met cis people. I have a lot of trouble with that perspective because I lived in Kansas for many years. I lived in Oklahoma for several years. I had no trouble whatsoever meeting queer and trans people in those spaces, in those
Absolutely.
places.
Absolutely.
They were there. They exist. We just saw, it was viral on Twitter, the map showing that the South has the biggest population of trans people. They exist. It's a real thing. Whatever. I mean, like, people are people.
I just found out that Houston has the biggest population of trans people queer people per capita.
I'm like, yes.
It's not hard. It's not hard. If you truly think I have no one in my sphere that has this
That's your
small
own fault.
detail about them, it is your fault. At this point, I truly think it's your fault.
I grew up in.
I agree.
I truly think it's
is.
because you're excluding
It
people.
absolutely is. I grew up in a town of 600 people, with a graduating class of 63 people. Of our graduating class, at least 3 of us are queer, and the mayor is a lesbian. Like, gay people are everywhere. Like.
And always have been. And it's only because of the powers that be and, like, school, a complicated thing that I hate, that we have to, like, relearn all of this shit post whatever.
Yeah. I mean, literally.
If you're watching the show, there's no way you disagree with us, is what I would say. But at the same time, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it took me fucking forever to realize I was fucking gay because I was
It's so
like,
hard.
Yeah.
So much is pounded into you.
I had no idea. I didn't know what it could look like.
No, of course not.
Right. You had a.
I
yeah.
didn't know that the feelings that I was feeling were like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I didn't know. Because whatever. We don't have to get into the whole thing. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
now it's like I'm so confused and I'm mad. Going back to the show topic, I'm mad.
We truly have not done anything. We truly have
just
found
got-
no
we've
solution.
just
We
gotten
found
more
no
mad.
solution, and honestly, maybe that's where we're at. There isn't one. Organize.
Yeah.
Gab's saying
We out
we
here.
are here, y'all, and we
Right.
are,
It's true.
and we are. Okay, Clink.
I mean, to be fair, in this moment, all 4 of the people involved in the conversation do live in Brooklyn.
It's true. It's true.
Well, no, Queens,
Queens.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
But we didn't come from Brooklyn,
we did not come from Brooklyn.
No.
which is its own issue. We're white people.
Right.
Absolutely.
Cancel us. But listen, I think it's fucking ridiculous I think it's fucking ridiculous when people are like, I just don't. I'm like, how do you not?
Hey, Tan France, you dumb shit. You have.
Yeah.
You did. It's what? One of your fucking co-stars, dumb shit. Anyway, sorry. Anyway,
Just
it doesn't
a
matter.
Queer Eye.
Doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. But in the first season, Tan says he's never met a trans person. It's like, well, great. Whatever. Queer Eye sucks. Whatever. It doesn't. I
haven't watched
I
it.
don't want to do it here
Yeah.
now.
Do we talk about another 10 or do we talk about another tip? What other 10 do we have?
We honestly don't.
Should we?
We
Should
could
we-
end. Let's see.
Should we end?
Let's
Should we
take a
break
look.
Should we break a glass?
We could. No. Here's the thing. We talk about Are You the One, and that's how we end.
Yes! Okay, please let me start. Okay.
Are You the One, season 8.
MTV is doing the first
And we're going to be very
sexually-
complimentary here in a way that is not necessarily whatever. I just don't want to give too much credit to something that's doing essentially the bare minimum. But
Yes.
But it's still more than anyone else is
MTV
doing.
It's still more than
has
anybody else is
a
doing.
dating reality. It's season 8 of this show called Are You the One? Season 8 is
The currently airing
first-
series.
Currently airing first sexually fluid cast for a dating show
Yes.
on MTV. Okay, great. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. Let me just say what makes it special. My best friend,
Former guest on the show.
former
would be
guest
a way we could also
okay,
say it.
that's true, former guest on the show. My best friend that I met in college, Basit Chatou, is on the motherfucking show.
And killing it.
Probably the best person on the show.
Easy.
As we watched the second
Is the best.
episode, I
Yeah.
did comment that I wasn't sure if it was because I already know Basit, but to me, Basit seems easily like the most likable
Yes.
person on the show so far.
Yes. My
And the
pre-
most interesting, and the
My
most
precious
everything.
angel baby, my precious angel baby.
The first 2 episodes of this aired last Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yes, and there is another episode this Wednesday.
In
Wednesday-
the
we had to get
secret-
off Wednesday
in the previous
nights.
Secret Handshake time slot.
We had to get off Wednesday nights because we had to make room for Are You the One? We had to make room for, of course, the Democratic presidential events last week. I'm sure everybody watched those and I loved what they saw. And then, of course, also the Chris Gethard Presents. But right now we're talking about show. Whatever. We're talking about Are You the One?
Yes. Okay, I'm thrilled. I will say that I do have a lot of inside knowledge that I can't.
Nobody here has
I
signed
can't-
an NDA, and no one has been told anything that would violate an NDA, but we, of course, have many thoughts and theories, and you
Right.
more than anyone, knowing your friend so well.
I actually did sign an NDA.
So,
Okay.
Cassini signed an NDA.
I actually did sign an NDA,
I
and I
had-
can't tell you what it was about.
I
and
had
can't tell
forgotten
you
that
anything.
you actually might have done that due to a reason, and I don't
But
know
I
what that
did sign
reason
an
would be.
NDA.
I don't know why that reason would be, but I forgot that you had also done that.
I'll tell you as soon as we get off the internet.
I truly forgot that that was the thing.
But I did sign an NDA, but like, listen, I'm thrilled. It's like okay, I fucking love reality TV.
As has been clear, if you've watched.
I love the drama of the show. I have never seen the show before this season.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. There are 2 trans people. Basit is one of them. They are a non-binary person. There is another trans mask.
Also
Basit-
non-binary.
Yeah, Basit is not trans mask. Basit is a non-binary, very fluid person. And then the other person, Kai, is a trans mask trans person who is like literally was filmed doing a shot of testosterone on the show.
Which
was
is fucking
yeah,
cool.
absolutely sweet.
Fucking one of the
and
coolest things
cool
I've
as
seen
shit.
on TV lately is
Yeah.
somebody doing hormones on them. That buddy, there's nothing punker than that.
I
don't know
literally
what to tell you.
have chills.
Yeah.
I literally have
Yeah.
chills talking about it because I think it's very sweet. It's like amazing to
Great, like up close discussions of top surgery, things like that.
things like that.
Kai shows up, open shirt, and I was immediately like, I cannot help but like Kai. Uh-oh. Sorry, folks, if you're not satisfied with Kai's, behavior in the first couple of episodes. As soon as I saw Kai, I was like, I don't know, kind of gotta like Kai.
Yeah. Listen, so many I mean, it's just like very sweet to see people to see like 2 women talking about, well, not sweet, but like 2 women talking about dealing with abusive relationships in different ways and connecting over that. People talking about just like dealing with coming out to their families and it's
acceptance of themselves and by others. Yeah.
it's really fucking sweet.
It's sweet.
There's a lot of drama. Everybody's hot. The house is beautiful.
Everybody is hot.
I will say
Everybody's thin.
there's no body diversity. Yeah.
That's true.
Everybody is tight body.
There's what I
Tight
would
top.
say most about shows when I go, this is so cool. I'm so glad I'm seeing this on television. Like I'm seeing this from the MTV network. Like
No fat
fucking
people.
There are no
finally.
fat people
Like
on the
great.
show.
But at the same time, what the main thing I think is, it's emblematic of the lack of representation, really more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not even that I'm like, I love this representation. It's like, oh, here is one example. Like, here is finally one place that might show you just a tickle of that.
Trickle.
Just a trickle, just a tickle.
Yeah, there's no fat people like really anywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
But the thing is, especially in queer spaces, it's like very hard for people to talk
Well,
about.
there was a very good Twitter thread about the. It was about aesthetics, and it was about.
Oh yeah, I retweeted that.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably you did. It was about the video, which I guess, trying not too much to talk about because
We're not going to talk about it.
the stands get furious. Apparently,
They're gonna come after
I know
us.
they're not going to come after us because
Honestly,
none
that
of us
could
have
be
a
great for our
following.
viewership.
It would honestly, I'd love to get in a feud. It would be huge for me.
I would love to get in a feud.
If
I
God,
Swifties
the
yell at a
engagement
Swiftie.
numbers alone feed me. But but we find these situations where both straight people, queer people, it's very much in line with what we were talking about, and the presenting in the suit and the everything, what normal looks like and what abnormal looks like.
Yeah, we love to say that
Aesthetics, it's a mess.
We love to say that fat, ugly people have bad opinions, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm just but there are fat.
But that's certainly not
there
true.
are fat, ugly people who are gay, who live in rural communities, who are connecting and finding each other in a way that is extremely radical and good. And there are fat queer people with bad teeth or that don't look visibly queer.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know if you know this, but healthcare is kind of a challenge in this country.
Yeah.
It's kind of a challenge. So
Yeah.
lots of people haven't been to the dentist in a long time, for example.
Yeah. So all of that, yes, I'm watching my best friend be on MTV.
Couldn't be
holy
happier.
fucking
Could not
shit,
be
yeah.
happier.
This person is literally a motherfucking star. I'm thinking
Will be a star.
Oh, 100%.
Knows
But Sid
exactly
is
what they're
killing
doing.
it,
Also,
yeah.
by the way, can't give enough
Mwah.
compliments to playing the part.
Basit is doing an amazing job.
you see the stuff, and you can't help but know that Basit is doing a good job.
The looks. Basit,
Yeah.
your looks. They're so
Basit's
good.
out here
we love
honestly
Basit.
revitalizing the reaction GIF industry.
Truly single-handedly. But I'm okay, I love reality TV, and then I think, could I be on reality TV? And then I think about, I know what Basit had to go through to be on the show, and I'm oh my God, they would be okay, you have to delete all these tweets about being a communist. I'm literally okay, you literally can't say that you want to kill a cop. You can't say, they would do that. Well, first of all, they would be you're too fat. You can't be on TV. Then they would be you can't say that you're a communist. You can't say that you don't like the United States. You can't say, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just going through the Rolodex of all the reasons.
Even though these are not complicated stances.
Right.
These are all stances that I'm listen, I'm going to go back to Nick's
We're
point.
all
I'm right.
very willing
Right.
to defend these.
Right. Well, but the thing about reality TV is presenting a version of yourself that is, by definition, consumable.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think that Basit would probably acknowledge that they are playing a character in a way on the series. I can absolutely appreciate it. I'm sorry for tapping my mic. I can absolutely appreciate it because I love pro wrestling. I love when people are being characters, and that's the only thing that this show can be. I mean, I would describe myself as an critical watcher of reality TV shows, and that I don't usually do it for...
I hope we're not in any way violating the kayfabe of Are You the One?
How could we be?
We're
not.
I don't know.
Basit's a person who is sexually fluid and who was on the show.
Right. No.
I'm not saying that they misrepresented themselves in any way.
No. I wasn't suggesting that at all.
Okay.
I just meant when we're talking about playing a character and comparing it to professional wrestling and things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
That is true. That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Excuse me.
But but I also think the producers.
Oh yeah, that's how reality TV does.
You have to have a big personality to be on reality TV shows. That's not a complicated.
Which I have, but it's not the right kind.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do have to have the right kind. And I'm very interested.
I'm pissed because I feel if I was on a reality TV show,
You'd be a star.
I would be a star. They would love me.
They would.
We're all
But
just
would
looking for an
they?
audience, folks. We're out here making the content. We're just looking for the audience.
Hey.
Shout out to you three. Honestly. Big, huge shout out.
Clink. All right. What do we think? Honestly, I feel amazing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we should wrap up the show.
Is it that we talked about tips for calming down, or is it that we just all got drunk?
It was that we all got drunk, but in a way, that's our final tip.
I'm not gonna recommend alcohol as a way to monitor your emotions.
Definitely.
As someone with a
It's fair and it's true, and I would say we're not alone, and we did it as a performance.
See, I am just playing a character.
Dabs would be exceptional on a dating show. Just to refer to the
Yes,
comment
that
in
is
the-
a dream of theirs.
Yeah.
They want to be on reality TV, and I feel like they would sell their soul to do it.
Mm-hmm.
do it.
I would imagine that perhaps there was not enough solidarity in that environment, and that they would have a problem with that based on our interactions, but
Hey.
I wish them luck in applying.
All right, you guys. What do
All
you?
right, I think we need to be done.
Yeah, I think we do need to wrap it up.
Let's go with an outro. It's been a lovely 2-hour show.
Is there? Oh, what? We're just gonna do a song. Okay.
Oh, should I do it?
No, yeah, do it. Let's end up. Let's see you later, folks.
All right.
Tuesday nights from now on, we'll be here Tuesday nights.
Tuesdays
9:30. You know,
at some time.
it's tough. We work. I'd love to have a strict
Hey,
time schedule. In a
what's
way,
that
I'd love that. But you have to
sound?
understand that we
Secret
work.
handshake.
with
Okay,
a
I can't
very-
clap and sing at the same time. That's something that's wrong with me. All right.
Okay. I was trying to do my narration underneath your
No,
singing.
no, keep going. Hey,
It's challenging because
what's
of the
that
space.
sound?
We
It's
make this
secret
show-
handshake coming around. We got
Honestly,
all
with
drunk and
very
we talked about
limited
lots of stuff that made us
resources.
mad. Hey, it's
Honestly.
secret.
About as low resources as you could make a show like
Secret
this.
Handshake.
But we're gonna be on Tuesday nights from now on, and I am sorry that we switched to Wednesday nights, although I've heard Wednesday nights have not been great for everybody, so I'm glad to switch to Tuesday nights because of that. But we are switching to Wednesday nights in a way because, just to be fair, I do want to point out that I am occasionally being paid to produce a show that is for real live and on television.
He did it! He made it! He made it!
Jerry does not know how to end the stream, so
Secret handshake.